A world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is a curious listener. Here she is, Chris.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Curious Times. It's Tuesday, second last day of May. What? It's almost halfway through the year. I cannot even stand it. You know what I mean? I think it's just craziness. Nick Fox is here, and we're going to get him on here real quick. So tomorrow we're blank. Then we have a full schedule. And so we have Jen and we have, let's go back to him. Okay. Amy, and she might drag Jen. Push, pull, and drag sale. Friday, Brittany, I think, is going to jump on with Salva Dutton. Kimber's here Saturday, Sunday, Hillary Black. Monday, Diana Monroe. A week from tonight, Lisa Nolan Shalusky. And the whole rest of that week is full too. So after tomorrow, the next day off is June 11th. And so there you go. Nick is here. He is from Australia, of course. He's a young lad, also. And he's got those dimples and that long hair and everything like that, you know, makes him almost irresistible. He is a guy that has found a nice balance between pursuing his spiritual learning and sharing and enjoying life and having fun and being a young dude trying to get through life. So he's not he's not all unicorns and lollipops. He does jewelry, he does lots of great work with crystals, and he's amazing at building crystal grids. You should get some of your pictures, Nick, soon of some of the crystal grids you've done. I think they're pretty amazing. I think we could play that game one day too, where we could put up I could load up a bunch of the pictures of crystal grids you've done, and then we don't have to give prizes. The prizes, they get to see it here. But they can look at the crystal grid and they can try to imagine what the purpose of that particular grid was, at least in your intent. And that was kind of a cool little thing that you had going on there too. Which I won one. I won one of those. I guess I was being psychic that day. Anyway, he writes and does readings and all of the aforementioned things that I said. You can find him on Facebook, so just look up Nick Fox, but you can just type the full URL, facebook.com/Nick Fox Love, or go find his website, nickfoxlove.com. Here comes Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hello. I was going to say don't go to my website because I haven't renewed it right now. I'm oh, this is kind of nice. No one can book readings with me right now. This is kind of nice. Maybe I should try this. No.
Domain you have, right? You're not going to
Yeah, I'm sure. I just need to pay the money to renew the address for the next 2 years, and I just haven't done it yet. I'm a little lazy.
We just whited it out. We blocked it out.
The audio is a little bit funny for you, Chris. I think people in the comments have noticed it as well. They say I sound okay, but you're a little choppy.
All right, well,
we can still understand you, but it's a little It's like you're like an alien kind of talking through like a staticky radio. We come in peace.
Well, there's some days when I'm able to morph into a human and successfully do that. But every now and then, like a reptilian, you know, like the alien stuff pushes out, like, and it can't be contained, and so apparently that's what's happening.
We're all a little reptilian. We're all a little Pleiadian, or whatever it is. Like, we're all that. That's why they hang around us so much. We're all family. That would actually, we should talk about aliens this time. That's so much fun. I love talking about aliens. Especially because my mom, like, that's the one topic I can't talk about with my mom. I could talk about anything else, but she's just like, I don't want to hear about it. It's not like she's afraid. Well, maybe she is, but she's just like, I don't want to hear about it. Like, that is not what I need to know today.
Interesting. Well, that's interesting. You know, like, it's funny to find out what kind of things make people uncomfortable.
Yeah, make people uncomfortable. It's usually like exactly for them.
No, it's like almost like you're allergic to the thing that you crave the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, based on religious reasons, I think, and just being indoctrinated throughout their life, is like they don't want to talk about ghosts and, you know, all of that, because it's all like, you know, but, okay, Sandy, I gotcha. Sandy wants in for reading. And so, yeah, that's interesting. I, you know, keep on coming back to this whole possibility that we're, again, and people get sick of hearing it, but like, if it is what it is, but, if there's no such thing as time and all of our existences that we ever have had and ever will have are happening concurrently, then it's not out of the realm of possibility that aliens are simply us in the future as we've evolved through space travel, and or even having to have exited Earth entirely, escape Earth. To whatever, and so and you know,
people always say, like, why, if they can travel through time, why haven't they come back? And I was kind of thinking about it. Yeah, like, it's a true point. I was like, at first I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, why haven't we had any time travelers? But then I was thinking, and I'm like, but if there is time travel, it means we've done pretty good. Like, it means we're okay. It means we're doing all right, and like, we don't really need to change stuff. And I think, like, that idea of changing things, like how you're talking about the idea of no time, I think that's hard to understand until you kind of bring in the idea as well of, like, multiple, like, dimensions or, like, realities. So that whole idea of there's no time literally just kind of refers to that idea of, like, everything is existing right now in this moment, but this moment is in, like, this box, and there's, like, a box right next to me that's, like, exactly, and, like, like, even putting physical space in doesn't make sense, but just for the visuals. You know, right next to me, there's another me, slightly different hair maybe, or slightly different that, or like something's different in the room, and like infinite possibilities. But like we struggle to understand that as well, the whole idea of there's no time, because like we're thinking about it we're still thinking in a linear way. We're still thinking like, I was born and I'm here now. How can there be no time because I was born? And like, I kind of, when I don't know, I'm still realizing it, I think, but what helped me a lot was like, okay, just like remember that like right now, and I can just keep saying right now, but like right now is like a slice of me. It's a slice of my consciousness that is tapped into this slice of I don't know, experience. And then when I moved my hand to the left, I'm not actually moving it. There's just lots of little slices of like experience. I don't know, that moment, I guess, there. It's such a hard thing to describe. It's kind of funny because it's so like non-physical in the sense of, well, I guess there is physical space, but it's just different to what we think. Everything's on top of each other.
Well, sure. Like, you know, when I had to understand the concept of bending space or whatever, you know what I mean? Then I had to see the visual of it. So, you know, like, how can, okay, because we go like, oh, well, it takes this long for a spaceship to get all the way to Mars or something. How can we, so here's, place A in the universe, and here's place B in the universe, you know what I mean? And so the concept is this, that when you do that, you're right on, all it is a little, and you're there. And so this is how.
And that's what we need to do to our brains. Like, that's what I think, like, part of this consciousness shift is like, we kind of need to take our brains from, like, a flat perspective and mush it all together and just realize it's all right now.
This is why I say that people are looking for spaceships and everything. I don't think so. I think it's just a little portal, and boom, you're there. And this. So let's imagine that. Here, let me get a darker. Let's imagine that there's just a bunch of dots all over the freaking place, like there is in the universe, and we're one of those dots. And even on Earth, there would be many, many dots on Earth. So these would be locations where you would go to find the portal, right? But so you got all these dots, right? So I can go from this place here to this place.
Yeah.
And to that place. And that and when we do it that way, and I put this dot over that dot, then we're there. We're already there. We're right there. It's not a question of having to travel from there to there.
Yeah.
It's just a question of walking through this doorway from here to here. That's all it is, And the second thing to the question of first thing to the question of why would they not come back if there's time travel? Number one, maybe they have. And secondly is, why would you? Let's say, number one, you're right. Like, we will mess things up as human beings, and we all know within our own life even that some of the struggles that we went through were necessary struggles, and that's what put us in the place where something really great happened to us. And if that struggle hadn't happened, we wouldn't have been there, So if we had somebody that would come back and we would avoid a certain major thing, catastrophe or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Then that could alter everything.
Yeah.
You couldn't be messing around with shit like that,
Like, who are we to kind of make that step and decide what should happen and shouldn't? That's like us, that whole idea of playing God, like, even in our own lives, like, how much do we really try to influence and control? Like, how much can we control? And should we even, like, I've been playing with that this year for sure, like, really just giving up control out of, like, anything outside of myself, except for just, like, what's going on inside of me and, like, what I can do. And, like, of course, it's not like I'm, like, I don't know, I don't wake up and I'm, like, I don't know, I'm not going to move until, like, the world does something. It's not literally that. But, there is that kind of... Maybe I should do that for a day and just see what happens. Like, maybe something will come and take me out of bed. You never know.
With takeaway or lunch or, a pot of chicken soup or something like that. By the way, I have not heard from Mary, but I wrote to Mary Margaret today to see how she's doing, and I didn't get a reply. So she had major surgery, like she was going in for a knee replacement, but she sent me a picture. Them mofos, they cut her from about the mid-thigh all the way down to mid-calf. All the way. Damn. And the knee is not there. Yeah. The knee is here. And so.
Damn. Well, we'll definitely hold space for her tonight. That'll be kind of the focus of, like, all the calls as well. Partly, like, me and the caller will, like, send us some good vibes. We don't even have to do anything. This is the beauty, I think, is, like, we don't really have to do anything either. Just by, like, having that, we're just like, It's gonna happen.
Having that thought and that intent, it's done.
Like, I wish I could just jump on a plane and help her out like that, physically, but that's the kind of thing we have to settle with, is like, sometimes we can't do that.
No, and, how freaked out would her family be if some, young
Especially me, oh my god. I'd be wearing like weird hippie looking clothes, and I'd be all like kind of, I don't know. I don't think I smell. I think I smell beautiful, and I hardly use, well, I shouldn't lie, I don't really use soap ever. I've always done it ever since I was a little kid. It's super funny. My mom used to hate it, but I don't smell. Well, I smell like me, but I don't stink. Well, that's debatable at times. If I've been running, things might be different.
Whether you use soap or don't use soap, you stink after you run,
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway.
But what were we talking about?
How do we get ourselves into these situations, Now we're talking about stinking, sweating bodies. And,
yeah. We were talking about aliens, weren't we? What else can I talk about with that?
I wonder if aliens sweat. Hey, I wonder if aliens sweat. Do you think that aliens... Now,
oh my god, that's fun.
Maybe aliens that live on hot planets sweat, because you need to sweat to regulate your body temperature, but maybe ones that depend. That's following along with my theory, was that that living beings, whether it's a plant, an animal, a human being, adapt to whatever environment that it's in. And so changes may take place in a living being depending upon where they are. And so if some of us wind up on different planets that all have different gravity and different atmospheres and different air to breathe or whatever, then all of these things would start over time to have us, if 10 of us all went to 10 different planets, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then,
changes.
50 years, and then all had, offspring or whatever, like 100 years from now, we would probably, our offspring would all have something different.
Yeah, it would start that process of fitting to your
6,000 years out would
yeah.
be even more, And
that supports that whole idea as well of, like you were saying, that all these aliens and stuff, they're really just us from the future. If that does kind of happen in the sense that we do travel to other planets and we do, evolve and stuff like that, who's to say that's the reason why there are those variety of aliens that we like to think of and stuff like that? Yeah, it's so interesting.
Well, look at when Americans go to war and they have little half American babies all over the world now. You know what I mean? I don't mean just American.
I could be half American. No, I'm not half American, but yeah, that's funny.
So,
that's funny.
that is interesting, and it's just a thought,
I know, right? That's what I love about it. Mind candy.
Yeah.
Just good for your brain to chew on. And it's fun to imagine this stuff. It kind of makes you rethink sometimes. At work today, I was, serving customers and that kind of thing. And then I realized I'm going to take a moment and just kind of, it sounds so hippie spiritually, but it's not as dramatic as it might sound. But I just kind of expanded myself outside of this planet and just kind of it's pretty much just see yourself from outside in the universe and just kind of see how small, not insignificant, but just small and tiny this sort of thing is. And for some reason that always makes me smile. If I've got wonderful things that I can think of to just make me smile, but this sort of idea in particular of just how, cause I don't like saying that it's insignificant. There is nothing insignificant about this compared to a planet exploding. I really started to see that because, I don't know, it is that whole butterfly effect idea. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But
Yeah.
just using that idea of just realizing like, hey, like there's so much. I think it just kind of brings you out of your world and out of your thoughts and out of all the like this, you know, your day, and you just kind of separate yourself a little bit and just like, oh, I can breathe up here. I'm not like caught up in like, you know, what I'm supposed to do today. I'm just more like feeling how big everything is. I encourage people to do stuff like that because we get so like worked up. I do it. I did it today. I had a great walk home because I kind of worked myself down again. But yeah, that's just a fun way I think to kind of expand how you feel a little. But what's been happening with you, Chris? What's the exciting news of this year?
Nothing too exciting. I'm pretty boring. I get more boring as I get older and older.
I don't believe that.
So yeah.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Well, I am. Maybe
my mum's always thought I was weird because I'm like, I can't wait to get old. When I was like 8, I couldn't wait to be like an old grandpa. Maybe I'll end up to be a grandmother. I don't know.
That's funny. I'm on your Facebook and I'm looking for some of your crystal grids pictures.
Oh, yeah. That's probably going to be a long scroll. I haven't posted any in so long. I used to do them all the time. I feel bad because it's something I love, but I just don't really seem to focus on it right now.
So is it just your like Facebook is becoming so stupid? Like even like private messages and trying to open anything.
I know.
Just doesn't.
Yeah.
It just. I clicked on your
album.
I
think they're fixing it.
Like nothing. And so like I just can't. Like what happens is because I'm very impatient, And so like I go.
Wait, is there a way I can like post them to the chat room?
Well, if I find them, then I can just like copy them and then upload them here. You know what I mean?
I've got them in a folder.
Are you on Skype? Log into Skype and just drag and drop the folder for me. Okay. Unless you have naked pictures of anything, you know what I mean? If they're all just
I don't have any naked photos of myself. I'm a very respectful person. No, I'm just a total wuss, I think. I'm not like, maybe I'm not confident enough. I've never seen interest in that. And well, actually, no. See, every time I say this, I'm like, there's nothing of me naked. Then I remember there's 3 videos of me naked online. Sorry, I gotta correct myself. But they're all so I don't really like see it as like me being naked. It's like, you know.
Okay, everybody, half of them are googling Nick Fox naked.
Oh no, you gotta go to it's my Venmo page. It's really hard to find. I don't know why. I think Venmo's a little weird or something.
It might change the way people, you know. So I would just pursue that at your own peril, you guys.
Hey, no, it's all totally harmless. One of them I think is really beautiful and really funny. One of them is just kind of like very ridiculous artsiness. That one's a really good one though. I love that one. It's called Mud Sluts. I didn't actually make that one. That was a friend of mine's, but I like helped out by being naked in it. I think I might have talked about this one before on the show, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that was a different time. That was when I was like 18, 19 or something.
Way long ago. long.
It does feel like that though. But it kind of doesn't at the same time. I still feel like 18, but it does seem like, I guess because I'm living in another country, it does feel like a world away. And I was definitely not doing this back then.
Like, okay, if I have to try to do something physical, then I feel my age and I understand.
Oh, yeah.
If I look in a mirror and I see all the gray hair, then
then you feel older.
I realize I'm older. But
when
I'm just
45 or something, we shouldn't talk about age, should we?
Something like that.
Okay, so I'm finding the
when I'm just sitting here and I'm not like looking at myself on the stupid video.
Yeah.
We don't see ourselves, and unless I've never been a vain person to go look at myself in the mirror a lot. You know what I mean? And so then when I'm just inside and I have first person, perspective, I don't feel anywhere near 50,
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna be 52 or I'm 52 coming 53. I can never remember. You know what I mean? It's one of those two things. But inside of myself, like just sitting here, I don't feel my thoughts are old, and I don't feel like 50. And then you see yourself and you go, oh yeah, I am older now.
I can start to see it now. Well, feel it, I should say.
It's like, oh, that was a rude awakening, And I don't know how to explain it really. I still feel very young in my mind, I feel very young.
Yeah.
I don't feel much different in that way. Maybe that means I haven't matured at all from when I was 18, Oh, don't call me.
I know, I did that by accident, sorry. Okay, wait, here we go.
No,
I just clicked on your face and then it just automatically started calling you. I was like, oh. Okay, I'm almost there. Sorry, this has been an adventure, but I think I've done it. Here we go.
Wherever the folder is, we click and then drag it and drop it into
there's a lot of photos in here. I'm gonna just I'm just gonna grab a couple.
Yeah, good.
Otherwise you're gonna get 50 photos of, of Nick's hippie crystal grid. And there's a lot. This is a really nice one.
And so then, so let me play a song while you do that. I'll play a song while you do that, and then you can just concentrate.
Oh, that's alright. I've sent them. Oh. I want to talk about what's it called? Oh, damn it, I forgot. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I want to talk about the aliens more. But I feel like there's something we're still missing. You know what I mean? There's another idea that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay, yeah, there's so many that we have, and there's time grasshopper, there's patience grasshopper, there's time. I'm just gonna, I just have to save these now.
Oh yeah,
so now
I'm how to get them on. Okay, well maybe we should do a song if you want. Okay. I was like, no, I just like talking to you, Chris.
Good idea. Hey, Nick, good idea. Let's see.
Yeah, so I guess I could talk about what I'm kind of doing right now and that kind of thing. Be all I could sell myself a little bit. I really encourage people to contact me because I'm starting to realize more and more now that I have no answers. No, this is terrible, isn't it? I'm not selling myself at all. I don't know, something that I've been really discovering and what I've been struggling, I think, with readings right now in particular is how do I'm even struggling to say this. It's how do what's the right way to put this? I don't feel like I am the best advice for you. I think you're the best advice for you. And for me to kind of figure out ways to, oh God, it's such a hard thing to put into words because I think I'm still figuring it out. How do I give you the best and greatest answers? And I kind of started to realize during my readings, and not all the time, but I've noticed sometimes, I get kind of more wrapped up in what I think a reader should say or what I think a spiritual person should do and that kind of thing. And I've really started to notice it as I kind of listen back over a couple of my readings. I'm listening and I'm I can feel when I'm just kind of blurting stuff out. So this reading session time, and you can see how slow I'm talking now, I'm going to try my best to slow down my pace. And please bear with me, everybody, because this is a new learning thing. And it's not I don't want people to think that the way that I was reading before was wrong, because I don't think that. It was more just that's not the way that I want to do readings. Or, yeah, actually that's a better way of saying it. It's not the way that I want to do readings now. It's not how I kind of want to approach giving guidance to people, because I feel at times I'm just there's just too much happening. And it's not you need to integrate it all, because you do take it on in a myriad of ways, both, emotionally and energetically and all these, subconsciously and stuff like that. But I don't know, I just really want to play with it. And it's something that I've been really kind of curious about, but I just have never really taken that step and done it. So I'm going to do that today as like a little warning. And it should be fun. And who knows, by the end of it, I'm sure I'm going to be like, la 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 la. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it was really about me kind of realizing that I don't need to say as much. You know what I mean? Like there is so much that could be said in a few words than in, an hour of speech. And that's something that I think, I don't know, that's something that I'm starting to just realize in the way that I teach and talk, that there's a lot that I say and I feel like I can simplify it. And it's not, like, honestly, it's not really, this is truth, I think, like, it's not really about, like, you guys, it really is about me and me being, like, comfortable in the way that I do it. So of course I'm never going to hold it back. If it comes out, like, crazy fast, I'm just going to go with it because, like, I don't like standing in the way of that. But, yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. And I think you're right, and it's not a surprise to me that anybody's style, especially if they start this young, like you did, that their style would evolve, and I rather see that happening as a result of your own growth than somebody goes and takes somebody else's course and they just start mimicking that person's style.
Thank you, Chris.
That really irritates me.
I didn't even really think about it like that. That's cool.
Yeah, like so. Now if you start this like in your late 40s or something, then I can imagine that your style might stay more the same as what when you first started. But it's indicative of your own personal growth, really.
Yeah.
And so
and it feels like I do want to emphasize that it's not like, because that's something, it's not a like, oh, like I'm bad at reading, or like I don't look at it as a bad way of doing it. I don't look at it as a wrong way of doing it. And the reason I want to make this clear, like, it's not like for me or like, oh, like, no, I was still good back then. I'm not saying that. It's more just, I don't want any of you to like start looking, or in a way I should say like this, I would prefer that all of you started looking at growing yourself and developing yourself, not as like, oh, back then I was wrong and I'm doing it bad and I need to change. Yeah. Looking at in just like, oh, like, I've pondered this and this seems like kind of fun and interesting and different. Like, I'm going to try it. And like, who knows, maybe at the end of this I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to go back to my old way. But it's good to fun and it's good to explore yourself.
Following, I think that flow. You're just following what is being given to you, really, and so for you to have come with the thought that you should maybe look at doing that came from somewhere, you know what I mean? And of course, that your readings are very popular, there's never a shortage of there's people that will come to my show only when Nick is on, or, this kind of thing, And, people don't have a problem with the way that you have done it. And I'm sure people look forward to, watching you evolve, watching you change and grow and do all of those things. Part of it too is, I think, coming into your own comfort and confidence.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely.
Sometimes, you could say the same thing 5 different ways, but you're still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so then in that way you can have brevity and you can be more concise. And you're not, because I think that sometimes out of nervousness, that's what people will do.
Yeah.
Is that they'll wind up saying the same thing 5 times different ways, maybe, and sometimes not even. And this is simply out of
that's confusing.
Or they feel like that they have to, give more, and sometimes more is not more. Less is sometimes more. Like
Exactly.
And, now if you're being, if there's really some emphasis coming through to you, to put an exclamation point on something for someone, then maybe you say it a second time, But yeah, I think that it's been said, that nobody has an original thought. Everything that we have, we're channeling, we're receiving from, the universe.
Yeah.
Maybe from the Akashic records even. And our own and others. You know what I mean? Just not knowing that. Just not knowing. And so there's my Akashic record, and then maybe there's like this assorted record, which just has an accumulation of just
miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
I like that.
And,
yeah, it's really true. It is very true. And I feel like it's, like you said, it's just, I'm saying it now, I'm just saying it in a different way. It's the same reading, I guess. I don't know, it's going to be different. It's definitely going to be different, I think. I'm super excited.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I wanted to show everybody I've got my little visitor. My little house. Little Mo. Whoop, he's moving. There he is. Good boy, Mo. He's keeping me company. Yeah, everybody likes the dog.
Oh, yeah.
And he likes being petted.
I love cats, too. Well, who doesn't?
Cats are alright. Cats will have their day. Cats are too popular.
Actually, I think dogs are more, I don't know, are cats more popular?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. It wouldn't surprise me if cats are more popular. They're so much easier than dogs. Dogs are like, oh my god.
Yeah, cats like for a lazy pet owner.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Lazy pet owner. Okay, so the last one is just uploading now. So let me toss on a song while we wait for that last one to come on, and then we'll have a look at those, and then we'll do a couple readings.
All right, cool.
So let's see. What should I play?
I'm gonna race to the bathroom.
Okay, go.
Are you looking for a place to meet like-minded people? Perhaps you're a light worker looking for a safe place to share your thoughts and services. We've got a place for you. intuitalks.com. Join for free, post updates, blogs, create and join groups via website or radio or class package. The possibilities are endless. Join the all-spiritual, all-under-one-roof network, www.intuitalks.com.
All right, there you go. We're back. Welcome back. I'll do a quick shout-out. We're going to scroll through these. I like to get some. I have my own thoughts, for example, on there's just what story might be getting told here or what the intent of this year crystal grid is, and made some observations as well. But I don't want to say nothing until see if anyone in the chat room, can you guys see if there's what was the idea of this? Is there a theme, a message? Is there an intent on what is this telling a story? What does this make you think of? Anything like that, and I'd love to have your guys' feedback in the chat room while I do the shout out, okay? And anybody who's going to get a reading from Nick has to comment. Yeah, sure. Okay, so there's an anonymous person. Boo Boo, how are you? Brittany is there, but she's not listening. Carrie, hi Carrie. And then Sandy is there waiting in queue. And Christy, the artist formerly known as Christy, who's CJ. Dan the man, the smoking hot meat man. He's got smoking meat. He has got smoking meat, Nick. And Marie, Diane, Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Shelby, you're supposed to come on the show one day, aren't you? Stacy. Oh, this is Kimber. Kimber. I could go longer. Corrine just joined. I think, or I don't know, maybe she's been there all along and I didn't. Because there's so many people in the chat room that I'd have to scroll down to the bottom of the list to see who's there. And hi, Marie. So I hadn't had anybody. You're not supposed to, I'm just saying, look at that. What do you, and just comment on anything that you see. You know what I mean, you guys? You don't have to worry. See, people, here you go. You guys are worried about being right or wrong. And it's like interpreting art in a way. And what you see in it doesn't have to be what Nick's vision of it was or view of it was, and it's interesting to hear other people's, but I don't want to say some of my thoughts on it until at least a few others, so that I don't have people. Yeah, I was thinking, I don't want any of that shit going on here. I want people, I want people to come up with their own. So we're not trying to identify what kind of stones or anything else. Just what. And that is a very elaborate. How many crystals is in that sucker, man? Holy
I have
crap.
no idea. That's a good question. Because there's mounds of crystals as well. Probably definitely over 100. At that time I had at least 200 little quartz points. Pretty much all of that is quartz points, and they're ranging in sizes.
Just in these mounds, you know what I'm saying? Just in these, oops, hang on. Okay. Just in these mounds, there's 40 anyway. You know what I mean? In each mound. Not to mention how many, that's amazing.
And it's quite big. I could, if I'm 6 feet or whatever, if I lay down, I would be the length of it.
Wow. Okay, so that's what I'm getting at, Marie. Good. Marie gets a gold star. Peace and balance, and that's great. That's a great answer, because there is a balance, because this one and that one, and there's alternating, there's alternating symmetry, I guess would be. Is that the word I'm looking for? So here's the center here, and then these two are intended to be the same, and then this and this is intended to be the same, and then this and this is intended to be the same, and that is intended to be in that and that. So that's the balance, absolutely. And
I did intend it to be very peaceful. It is peaceful. Looking at it, I get very peaceful, maybe, at least. It makes me...
What I was coming with was that I'm thinking of these as... so there's a lot of fours here, you know what I mean? And so you have the 4 directions, and
I didn't think about that. I love that.
The 4 races, and this kind of thing. So I'm thinking of, this, the peace part of the people getting, being together and coexisting together, and even complementing each other and all of this kind of thing. I almost see this here as being almost the very start. So the first being, if you will, or something like this, and then things branch out, and then things branch out. You know what I mean?
It's like the Big Bang or something like that.
Yeah. And so, but I see these as being sort of representative of people, groups of people of some kind anyway. And
I love that. I didn't see that. I like that.
So, but I really love that, the whole peace and balance is perfect. Peace and balance is perfect. Marie gets points for...
She said happy, that's a very valid, every time I make these grids, I am there smiling pretty much the whole time. It's they definitely make me happy. And this one, can I talk about what, I kind of feel about it now? I've been itching to. I'm like a little like 3-year-old, like, can I want to speak now? It was very much focused as like, and it's funny, I want to point out, there's a really good video online, and like, the little kid explains it way better than me. But when I watched the video, I was like, oh my god, that's exactly how I do it. I got super excited, because whenever a little kid is doing something that like, the same way as me, it makes me feel like I'm like a total master. But anyway, so he explains it as like I didn't plan that at all. Like, maybe certain moments of like, okay, like, I'm gonna put that there, but that's about it. It was more just like, this is where it feels like it needs to be put. And like, all of the grids, pretty much all of them, I didn't like have like a design in mind. It was just like, okay, like, these are all the crystals, there they are, okay, like, let's start, and like, you just build from there. But as you build it, you kind of, you see things in it. You know, like how you were talking about it, Chris, you're seeing things in there and you're kind of getting feelings from it and ideas, like you kind of develop that. And then when you finish it, you go, well, I would always stop and be like, okay, oh, wow, this feels like this, and like, it looks like that. And so it's like a mystery to me as well, which is what I love about making crystal grids. But anyway, this one was like definitely focused towards peace. Like when I stood in front of it, it just felt like the world, and just all the different parts and all the different elements and all the different layers, and how they're all just working together, you know, in that balance. And it was also meant to be a very like joyous kind of thing. Like, it was a total celebration of like, I don't know, life and what's created here. But yeah, I do love that one. I was very proud of that one. That was,
you see here, this guy here, this one right here, down here at the bottom. This looks an awful lot to me like a inukshuk, which in the north is, they'll build these stone structures called inukshuk, and it's for safe travel, safe journey. And so when you come across one of those up north, you know, it's a safe journey for you. And
that's super cool.
And so in a way, like, this reminds me of the inukshuk. And I have a little one that I'll try and find it. I've shown it before. I don't know where the heck it is. Like, you just can take simple rocks and just some simple white glue and make little inukshuk, you know.
Yeah.
But if you look up inukshuk online, you know, you guys will, N-U-K-S-H-U-K, I believe is the spelling. And so go look at that. Now, here, let's go on to the next one. And
oh my god, I love them. Oh, they look so cool. See, that's the real crystal grid.
Black, it's a beautiful color, and
this one, yeah, I love this one.
Well, the first word that came to my head for some reason right now is the word oasis. You know what I mean? Oasis.
Ooh, yeah.
So anyway, I'll let you guys, you can talk a little bit about it, see if there's any feedback. I'll try and find my simple little rock inukshuk that I made, and I'll be right back.
No worries. Yeah, it's cool to see this. It's cool to see this one, because this is from, I don't know, like 3 years ago or something like that, and there's all these crystals in there that I don't have anymore, and I'm like, whoa, I forgot about that one, Yeah, this was a really fun one, because this is when I first arrived in LA, and it was like really the big like starting block of my big adventure in America. And like I had all these were all my crystals at the time. Like I was traveling with all these goddamn crystals. And that was like, I was like, yeah, I should make this. And I was very happy because the person I was staying with was in love with crystals as well. And so we made that together, and it was a really special one. It definitely makes me happy, that one. I love the word oasis. Oh, well, Chris, I love that.
That's just simple. It's just black stones, you know what I mean? And you just take that simple white glue, and it's just that simple. And this one here, there's the flat face. You know what I mean? And and these of course are the arms, so you put a longer one underneath the head to maybe be and these are the two legs, you know what I mean?
I love the style of it.
Yeah, so there's really, and so there's an idea of the size of this one. I mean, you can make them any size you want, but just a fun little.
Yeah, that
I remember
really
I showed up one time, Corinne was all smack talking me, and then I told her that it was like what it was, and then she's like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, there you go. There's that.
I love that. No, that was really. I want to make one now. I'm gonna figure out a way to make it with crystals. Drill through them or something.
You don't have to, it's like this is the glue that I used. Just simple little white glue.
Yeah, I should try that.
And it kind of set, you have to let it set and everything else, but it's pretty solid. Once you can't be tossing it around or anything, but it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I just about broke it, but anyway, I'll have to fix that now. But anyway, it's pretty solid. You just don't demonstrate on your radio show how solid it is.
Yeah. You just tell them, you don't show them.
Meant to carry around in your pocket or your purse. It's meant to sit somewhere, and so it might be neat to have one of those in a car, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it's representing safe travel,
and so beautiful.
And that would be good too. So.
Like that would be so adorable, sitting on the windowsill. Just like right there, just driving around this little figure.
So let's third and the fourth one quick, and then we'll take the call. So now, that one's pretty? That one's pretty.
Yeah, I love this one.
Pretty cool.
It made me so happy making that. That one is like, I like it because it's this kind of double swirl thing. Like one swirl is the quartz, and then the other swirl is just like all the random stones I had. And I spent like a good hour building this because, so this is an example of one of the ones I planned. And of course the one that I've planned takes ages and is way more complex and kind of like not necessary, but it still looks cool. But anyway, it just took me a while because I pretty much sized every single crystal against each other to make sure that it goes from smallest to biggest.
That looks like a skull, and it is a skull, isn't it? Is that a skull?
I don't know, I can't tell from here.
Now it looks like a bear. Now it looks like a bear.
Yeah, it's probably not the best high quality photo.
It's beautiful. I love how stuff jumps out at me. Like that looks like a skull.
Yeah.
It looks like a skull.
I definitely see it in there, yeah. But I don't think I have. I wish I had a skull that big. I want to carve my own skull. That's like, I've started crystal carving. Oh, I haven't told you this yet. I've started crystal carving. Oh my god. Hold on. I got a little guy to show. Wait.
Awesome. And here's the last one. This
is my first one. So it's, tiny and simple, but I absolutely am so proud of it.
Remind you guys that are in the chat room that if you go to the bottom right hand of your screen and you choose video only, then it'll make the camera bigger and you'll be able to see. Go ahead, Nick.
So adorable. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'm always so bad at this. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
You can see.
Wow.
So it's just like this little guy. And I carved it out of selenite. So it was very, very easy. I used like a little Dremel tool.
He has a nice ass.
I know, right? I was waiting for that. I definitely worked on that ass. But yeah, like he's super, sorry, I'm trying to get a good shot. He's super cute and he's like, and I drilled a hole through his head so I can make him into a necklace if I need. But yeah, this was very easy. But I have to say, if anyone's going to start carving with selenite, be really careful because it is incredibly, like, toxic to breathe in the dust. And, yeah, like, just be aware of that kind of thing. Wear, like, a good protection. But it was so, like, it was just so easy and so fun. And it came from just, like, a square, normal block of raw selenite. And I just, like, slowly, like, drilled away at it and, like, did little carving things. And, oh, my God, I had so much fun doing it. the next one, of course, I'd take it like a whole huge step further. The next one's like 3 times the size. And instead of just like one man, it's 4-sided like men, and they're all like doing different poses, and I didn't realize how complicated it would be.
That was awesome.
But I will take
photos. Let me ask you, that first one that you made there, like how much time did that take you?
I don't know, I didn't actually time, but maybe an hour or something, maybe 2 hours, I don't know.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Maybe. It's awesome. Oh
I know, isn't it? I am like so proud of it. I think this is the first time I've showed anyone. I've like kept it just on my table, cause I wanted to see if I could make a better one. But, yeah, I'm glad I showed you guys. Cause he wants to see the world. I know he does. The second
I'm sure that there's people that want to write to you and say, make me one, make me one.
Yeah, make me a little man. He honestly feels like a mini version of me. Just like
when I look at this fourth one, like a few things hit me like right off the bat.
Oh yeah,
like
I love this one.
I get like combination teepee and totem pole. That's what I get. Teepee and totem pole.
Yeah, I love that. Sacred house.
And so
yeah, that one.
I love some of the vibrant colors of these stones. Just pop, you know what I mean? And you have some amazing stones.
I know. It's amazing how different it is now. Like I'm looking at all of these and I'm like, I don't recognize any of them except for one. Yeah, because they're all like I just give them away like completely freely, and I just keep cycling through them, and it's great. Like it's not a bad thing, but it's just hilarious. Like looking at these, I'm like, oh my god, like I don't think I have any of those left. Oh, that's funny.
Well, that's an interesting way then to keep them, to capture them and keep them is
it's true. That's very true.
Make something beautiful out of them, and then freely give them. It's almost like wouldn't that be so funny like that? You can make a movie or a story out of this really important crystal grid got built one day. Yeah. You know,
and just take it from there.
Each of the pieces were given to different people.
Yeah.
And it's a time in the story when it becomes important and even critical to survival. That all of these people come back together again with each crystal or stone that they were given. Yeah. And, reassemble. And, like that would be a cool story, you know what I mean? But,
yeah, we gotta start writing a book together, Chris. We could do that. I've been writing.
That's good.
But I love that idea. That is a really fun idea.
You do keep very busy. That's one really very and yet you're finding time to, well, you know what? Live your fucking life, man. Oops, I said the F word. Anyway, live your life and get the most out of it that you can. And that's what I really enjoy seeing in you is you spend a lot of time with your own artistic pursuits and spirit, and some of those married together with the spiritual, and it doesn't have to. But you're also, and you're working, and you're also, having some bit of a social life, I'm sure. So
yeah, I've got like 3 friends downstairs, like not waiting for me. So I'm living in a friend of mine's like house. Like he moved out because he went to college, and I'm like living in his room with his parents, who are so awesome. It's a really good setup. It worked so perfectly. But anyway, he's finished college, so he's just come back like a couple weeks ago or whatever. Anyway, so he's down there, but they can wait. They gotta wait for the glory that is Nick.
So we have, it looks like, at least 3 people waiting to talk to you.
Yeah, we can totally start. Remember, I'm going to talk really slow, so it's going to take a while to do each reading.
So we're going to go and we're going to get Sandy first, because she was the first one in line. Hi, Sandy. Hello. Oh, sorry, that was Kimber. Okay, you got two people. My bad. Hi, Sandy. Sorry. There's two of you from Minnesota. There's Stacy from Minnesota who's here, and then there's Cell Phone from Minnesota, and I got confused. That's the age shorter, no?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Nick.
How's it going?
How are you? Good.
Excellent.
Nick, I want to ask a question about my son. Is that okay?
Of course. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I took him to the airport today to go on a trip with a group of kids from his school. And I'm just really concerned about how the trip is going to go for him. He doesn't have friends really, and even while we're standing there waiting for them all to leave, none of the kids really talk to him at all. So it just kind of breaks my heart. So I'm just, however though, if you can see really bad things happening, don't tell me about that though.
No, I was going to actually tell you this story, and I think this is like so perfect for this. So I remember my first day of university very clearly. Excuse me, I was walking into university like for the what's it called, the introduction, like where you sit down with all the other students and they'll talk to you. The teachers come up and talk and explain what, university life is like, all that kind of thing. Anyway, so I remember clearly walking in and just kind of feeling everybody's vibe, and everyone was like, like looking around nervously, and like they had their hands in their pocket, like, they just kind of, they weren't comfortable, I guess is a good way of shortening it. So I keep walking in, and no one's talking to each other. There's a couple of people, that are friends or anything, but like, no one's really talking to each other. Everyone's alone. But then like, after like, it was like 30 minutes, and we were all sitting down, and like people talked and that kind of thing, but there was a bit of a break, and like slowly after 30 minutes, someone behind me like asked me a question, and it was only about like something that the teacher had said or something, but I answered it, and I gave them, what I remember, and talked to them for a second, and they said thank you, and I said you're welcome. I turned back around, and then later on I'm going to get lunch, and everyone else is getting lunch because it's the lunch time, and I come and sit down at a table, and then two other people come and sit next to me, and they're like, oh hey, like we just met today, like do you have anyone to sit with, like can we sit down with you, like we're new and we'd love to meet you. And I was like, yeah sure, like sit down, like awesome. Have great conversation, we connect, we found out we're all in the same class, which was really funny because there was a lot of people. And then it turns out that they kind of became my friends for like, I had other friends of course, but they were like my long running friends throughout university. And the reason I kind of bring this story up is like, it's very simple and there's nothing really profound about it. And the reason is because that's kind of what this is. That's kind of what his trip is. Like, there's nothing really profound about it. Like, he's not going to like, spend a year in Syria helping refugees. Like, there's not some really big deal behind it. He's just going on a trip with his school. There's intention. You want him to explore and to learn more about himself and to meet people, all that kind of thing. There is intention, but there's no grade. There's no like actual, this is the standard he needs to meet or anything like that. He's just going, and he's going on an adventure, and I want you to kind of be, I don't know why they say Bilbo, but I want you to be like the happy Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. How he kind of just sent Frodo off like kind of just trusting and just knowing, like he gave Frodo like, his mithril, I don't know why this is coming up. I'm sorry if you don't understand Lord of the Rings. But he gave him like a special chainmail thing and gave Frodo like a sword and stuff to help him, do his adventure. But he let him do his adventure. And I know it can be like, I'm sure Bilbo had, fears and reservations and wanted to say, oh my God, look out for this, and like if this happens, like do this. But like Frodo just kind of needed to learn it on his own, and he did. He dropped the ring and the thing and killed the big Dark Lord. But the reason I bring that up is just be that kind of person of like, because you can't really do anything else. You know what I mean? Like there's no point sitting here and going, oh God, like what if this happened? What if like he doesn't talk to anyone during the entire time? Like if that's the case, that's the case. We really have no control. You have no control over it. But what I'm trying to say is there's no point, to think about that sort of stuff. When you call him or when you speak to him, the next, maybe tomorrow or something, and maybe he's feeling kind of down, or maybe he's feeling a little anxious, do you want to approach it from the space of, oh, I knew he was going to be anxious, like I knew it was going to be hard for him, like, okay, I need to start figuring out what to say and like, what should I do? And you kind of get into that space. Or do you want to approach it from like, hey, like, it's okay, like, and that's all he really wants, is you to be like, hey, it's okay, like, I'm here, you're going to come back soon, you know, be that kind of, that guide that isn't telling the person what to do, isn't really worrying for them, because like you went through life and had moments where you may be antisocial, or maybe you weren't really good at talking to people, or you weren't really good at that thing, but you figured it out, you know what I mean? And I kind of just want to, like, the big message, I guess, the big overall message from Spirit, or it's really from you, is just saying like, oh, like, relax. It's so sweet. It's so beautiful. He's so ready for this. If he wasn't ready, he wouldn't be going. You know, if it wasn't the right time, it wouldn't be happening. The fact that he got on, you know, the plane or whatever, like, it's happening. It's real. It's what he wanted. And like, honestly, I think it'll really surprise you. It feels really beautiful to him. Of course there's challenge. Like, thank God life gives us challenge, because otherwise it'd be kind of like a little too easy. And I think we'd sit a really long time. That's why like Buddhas and stuff do like just sit and meditate all the time, because they're just happy and like there isn't really a need to move. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, just know that like it's right and it's perfect and it's the way it's going, and you can worry. Like, I'm not saying, oh, it's bad, don't worry. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying you don't need to. You don't need to worry, because one, you have no control right now. He's somewhere else. You can't even like touch him. You can call him, but that's about it. So kind of embrace this kind of scary fear, because it is scary. I'm sure you're like a little frightened. It's your child, you know, but that's okay. Like, it's like a I don't know, like a deer with its fawn, you know, if it gets a little far away, it's going to get a little scared and maybe call it over, or maybe walk over closer to its baby, you know. It's just that kind of natural love and care and want to be close. So give yourself a break and be like, hey, he's got this. As, like, I really want to say like this, as strong as I think he is, he can always be stronger. And like, this is kind of what this is about for him, I think, in a lot of ways. He's kind of going to this stage of a new strength. And whether he finds one friend or 10 friends, it doesn't really matter. It's really about what he gets from it. And if it's challenge, it's challenge. That's gonna push him. That's gonna drive him to other things. Or if it's joy, it's joy. And that's gonna, you know, inspire him and push him to other things. But yeah, definitely nothing bad. Definitely nothing terrible. I definitely answered your question with like a long response, but I think it was good because it was many layered in the way that you can understand it and he can understand it, and I hope it also relates to other things in your life. Because in truth, we have very little control of anything. But does that make sense?
It does. You know, when you talk about the friends thing, when you were at university, well, these were all kids that he knew. Like, you didn't know any of them. You know, he's been going to school with all these kids, and they kind of, nobody acknowledged them. He's trying to get into their group, and he's standing right there, and you know, they're just kind of ignoring him, and he's trying to assimilate, and they're just not even, you know, like he thought he was
not connecting.
My heart, you know.
Yeah. I've got another good story then, and it's also from university. And it does relate a lot because I think it's the exact same thing what he's doing. It was me and people from my class all going together. And like, I know university, by the way, is different to like high school and that kind of thing. But I think the reason, like we could spend, okay, I'm going to kind of get to the root of this, I guess. We could spend a lot of time like talking about, like I said, like what could happen, or like, you know, this, we saw this and there's evidence of this and this is going to happen, and it's going to make you feel down, and it's going to make you feel kind of like frustrated, and it's going to make you feel emotional. It's going to make you feel sad. And the question is like, do you want to feel that? It's not like by not feeling sad for him or feeling concerned for him, you're not caring. It's not that at all. Like this sounds very like kind of forward, but it's very true. Like, the most caring thing you can do for him right now is be happy and loving towards everything that he's doing and like what is in. You know what I mean? Like, embracing that, you know, okay, he was just alone. Like, he sorry, I'm slowing myself down. He, where do I put this? No matter what, we really cannot fathom what we all have to learn, what we all have to figure out. My dad, no matter how hard he tried to like, you know, he had the same issue with me. Like, he was a very social person, and I wasn't antisocial, but I didn't have that many friends. And that was something that always, I knew bothered him, and he would bring it up with me, like, not a lot, but every now and then. And it was a huge thing for him, and he really didn't understand why I wasn't that fussed about it, or like why it just never really happened to me. Like, and I never really, like, of course I had moments of sadness because I didn't have like hundreds of friends like other people, but like I realize now that it gave me a really, really powerful thing. And I know in your mind you want him to be like standing there with friends and smiling and, you know, having fun and being a kid and that kind of thing. But like, he's being a kid in a different way. And like, I'm glad that I was a kid that didn't, you know, had times of where I was like, okay, bullied, for example. I was bullied and I was, you know, like alone in some situations. Like, I'm glad I had that. It was hard. I'm not going to deny that. And like, my mom at the time was like, oh my God, like, you know, you're okay, like hugging me. I would come home crying and that kind of thing. But it made me so like, it just gave me so much cool stuff. You know what I mean? And we often get scared that, oh, because they're sad or because they're uncomfortable or because, you know, they're angry or depressed or whatever, they're in a bad situation. And like, that I don't think is always true. It sucks for sure to be sad. It sucks to be uncomfortable. We don't like it, but it really does. It does bring us stuff. It does bring us stuff. And like, there's almost this message of like, give him space to learn. Like, and
that's
and
what
like,
you keep saying. That's the message you keep getting.
Yeah, you know, like give him space. Like, trust him. Trust what he's doing. Trust what, you know, trust his adventure. You know, he chose this. Like, this is something that I realized, like, I don't know why, but very early on in, like, spiritual things, like, I kind of really, I don't know why like, realize is a kind of interesting word, but, like, I just really saw it and it just made so much sense to me that, like, everything is exactly the way that we wanted it to be. And the way things are happening, and even in our head, even if we're thinking in our head, this isn't what I want, this isn't what I want, like, a month, a year, even 10 years, sometimes it can be a while, but you look back and you realize, oh, I can totally see how that played role in this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Like, everything in my life, everything, even those moments of like, I don't know, just sitting down and eating a donut, that inspired my love of eating donuts. My, you know, moment I was like standing and like someone drove past me in a car and like yelled something rude at me. Like, that made me honestly, that made me laugh. But like, maybe that inspired me to like never do that to anyone, because it was like, it made me feel so uncomfortable and I'm never gonna like yell out the window, you know, at someone. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of,
you know, I just wanted to have confidence and feel good about himself, and totally. he's always been rejected all his life. You know? Totally. And he's shut down because of that. You know, he doesn't even try to reach out and have friends and do stuff. Because he knows he feels better when he's alone than when he's with people and gets rejected. Yeah.
Oh, I totally relate to that. Because people are so confusing and people are very complicated and people bring all their stuff to, you know, when you're talking with someone, you're talking to them. You're talking, you know, with them, and you're talking with all their ideas. You're talking with all their perceptions, with all their stuff. Like, I kind of want to say, like, and it does feel like this, like they're kind of bringing this message forward of like, but what's wrong with that? Like, in your mind, you have this idea that because he, you know, spends time alone, that it's a bad thing. And like, he can, you know, he gets, I'm not denying that it's good to have friends or anything like that. Of course, they're both valuable. They just both have different values and they both give us different things. And, you know, maybe right now he is, you know, a little antisocial. Maybe right now he doesn't know how to communicate. Maybe right now he doesn't know how to like relate to someone in, you know, this way or that way. But he's figuring it out. And like, no matter how many kind of friendships he has with people, he needs to figure it out. You know what I mean? He needs to be the one that works it out and gets comfortable and that kind of thing. And like, what better way to do that than like with yourself and like with who you are? But it does feel like the whole purpose of this reading and like overall, it feels like it's just this kind of reassurance for you and just reminding you like, hey, like it's okay. Trust him. Like he is so strong. Oh my God. Like he is, you know what, they talk about like crystal children and all that kind of thing. And like all of us are crystal children. All of us are. But I have always believed that like those kids that kind of face the hardship and stuff like that, because I like I said, I believe we choose it. We choose it. And not just our brain, like our whole self, but we choose what we're doing. And those people that face really big, hard things when they're young and when they're, you know, still trying to figure out even just who they are, they're the ones that really make a difference in the future. They're the ones that really kind of actually understand people. You know, he may be antisocial now, but that leads him, and like I'm, I think, a perfect example of going from antisocial to like almost ridiculously social, like where people are like, oh my God, like, are you ever sad? Like, because I'm just such a, you know, I just love talking to people and I love conversing with people. But I promise you, maybe not 5 years ago, I forget that I'm 26, no, 25, but like 8 years ago or 9 years ago, I was, even 13 years ago, I was quiet. I would definitely not be on a radio show or anything like that. I was quiet. I was scared. I, you know, didn't have any confidence in myself. We go through changes and like this message of like trust again, like it comes back to that thing of trust him, trust it. Don't judge yourself for being scared or being, you know, worried about him. That's your love. That's your love showing. That's your care showing. But they're kind of saying you don't need to do it like that.
I always ask this question, so everybody's sick of it, but
yeah.
Can they see if I've been raising him properly, okay, a good mom, not?
The only problem, and this is them like interrupting you right away because they're like, this is the only important thing. The only problem in the entire like time you've been being his mother is when you question whether or not you're doing a good job. That is the only like problem you've ever made, or the only mistake you've ever made. This is what they say, is when you question your worth as a mother. When you question, oh, was this the right thing to do? Like, am I a good mother? Like, just that question, they almost like, they scrunch it up like with anger, and they're like, no, don't even ask that question. You can. You know, they're laughing and being dramatic and silly and like giving you visuals so you can understand like what they're trying to convey.
Well, his father died when he was 11, so I've been raising him on my own. Yeah. And it's hard for me, so, you know, I'm trying to do a good job.
Oh, you are doing a good job. And that's why they're saying, like, the only, like, mistake you're making is just by questioning whether or not you're doing a good job. It's so, like, and again, with the choice, like, this is, and I want to make this clear, it's not your mind choosing. You know, in your mind, you want your son to, like you said, you want him to be happy and, like, you know, have friends and, like, having that experience. But, like, your kind of, and it sounds cheesy, but your heart or your kind of soul, I guess, knows that it's not the way it's meant to be. And that's why it's experienced that way. That's why you are experiencing this version of him not being social now. And like I wanna keep going, but I just wanna feel like, it does feel like that you're the one, like it's not about him now. It's about you, and it's about you just realizing like, hey, like I'm doing everything right. Like it's a self-love reading, honestly. It's like, I am doing everything right. And yes, you should be proud of him. And yes, you should trust him to be either strong enough to like, you know, speak up and make a friend, or to be, you know, kind of almost humble and open enough to have someone else come in and introduce themselves. Because I really do feel like that's going to happen for sure. Like when you put kids together for like any amount of time, oh, they just instantly just
they're going
join.
They're going for 3 weeks.
That's a good amount of time for that to happen. You know what I mean?
It's a long time. Yeah. You know,
and
it's scary.
It's scary, but he is gonna, like, they say, like, and it's always very dramatic, but it's always, the point of it is to make you feel good. he's going to come back totally different. He's going to come back and you're going to see a smile that you've never seen, before. He's going to say stuff that you're like, wow, he's grown up. Or he's going to, throw an idea at you and you're going to be like, oh, that really does make me think. He's going to grow. Of course he's going to grow, and of course he's going to find things and see,
well, and
like,
this is the first time he's been away from me, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I totally understand why you feel scared, and I totally, like, be like the mother to yourself right now and be like, it's so okay, like, this is the first time we've been apart, like, this is so okay to be scared, like, treat it like that.
I was so excited for him to go, and then today after he left, I was like a wreck. I was just a wreck.
Totally, which is so okay. Like, don't look at it as like, oh no, I failed, or I'm not, like, that's such a normal, I'm sure every mom that's listening right now is raising their hand being like, I did the exact same thing. I still do the exact same thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, like, this is all to make you feel better about you and what you're doing and who you are. Like, take a moment and just take a breath and go like, hey, like, I'm doing all right. You don't even have to say fantastic. You can just say, I'm doing all right. I'm doing my best. And like, give yourself the pat on the back. Because
I do like to hear from the spirits, though, to tell me I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
I won't believe myself,
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Because it's so true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it wasn't true, like, it wouldn't be happening. And it's true, so it's happening. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening, and it's...
Okay. Well, I'll let you go.
No, but thank you. Like, that was a really, really beautiful reading. Thank you. I really do appreciate that, because people are often too afraid to really, like, question and push, and because what that helped me do was find a new way of saying, and it, like we were saying before, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, but that's powerful, and that's the way energy is sent, that's the way information is communicated, that's the way understanding is reached. So I'm proud of you and thank you. I know I'm super cheesy, but that's just who I am.
Well, I was going to say, it's interesting to me that you're concerned about your kid's self-confidence and really, like, wonder where you got that from.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
So, maybe if you stop doubting yourself, that'll help him stop doubting himself, too,
I don't know. We'll see. Thanks so much, Nick. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Thanks,
You're doing
Chris,
beautifully.
for letting me
Thank you.
get in the call. I appreciate it. Okay. Good night.
Anytime. Have a beautiful night.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. I think she should pay attention to what I said.
I think I did pretty good. I realized halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm not as slow as I wanted to be. But I think I did pretty good in, like, pacing myself. I just don't want to control myself too much.
No, and you should just just don't try to do it anyway. Just
exactly.
do it as it comes.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's just one more here, and so this is I don't know who it is. Might be Queen, for all I know. Who's this caller? Anonymous caller.
For all you know something, and it would probably help her to take your advice, Chris. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
Awesome.
Hi, Nick.
How are you? I haven't heard a name. Sorry, I don't know what your name is.
Queen.
I have a bunch of them, Nick.
I like that.
For all practical purposes for this moment, I'm Queen.
Okay, cool. Queen, I like it. Queen of the desert. Queen of the kingdom. Queen of the world.
You got it. You got me. Yes. Well, the first question is, I see your jewelry, and I notice you have taken on a style of bending the metal for prongs, and it looks like you're doing etchings on the back. So I'm intrigued with it. They are etchings.
Yeah. So I do. I'm not actually using. I think it's called ferric chloride. That's the like typical jeweler acid that they use to like etch into metal. I'm using like a kind of home brewed concoction, which is, I think it's hydrogen peroxide and muriatic acid, I think it is. Anyway, it's super fun, super easy. Of course, be aware because you're working with like chemicals, like they're not like going to kill you, but they are harmful. So wear gloves and put them in a, good container. But yeah, so what I do is, like, it's a flat sheet of metal, like a piece of paper, but it's metal. And then I cut out the shape to kind of fit the crystal. Then I do the etchings on the back, and I hand draw all the etchings. And I love that. The second I, like, kind of realized I could do that, I, like, immediately started, and it's really beautiful for me because, honestly, I'm not a drawer. Like, I never draw. I don't know. I've just never really liked it. I've never thought I've been very good at it, so I never really did it. But the wonderful synchronicities of the world, of course, it happened, like, once I started working, really, at this, salad place, we have to write on the lids at the salad place, like, what type of salad it is. And I got into a habit of drawing something as well next to the salad, like maybe like, I don't know, like a beautiful sunset or something like that. Like, I'll just draw a quick little doodle. And that has now helped me, doing that every day has now helped me to, like, draw better. And it's not really drawing better. I'm sorry, I've gone on such a tangent. See, this is what I'm talking about with my readings. I feel like I just go on these, like, tangents just to God knows where. But, it's, like, really made me confident, I guess, or, like, trusting in my hand and trusting in what I'm doing. I'm still getting there, of course, but yes, I do hand draw all the etchings, and then, yeah, I fit it around the crystal. And, like, that's always the last thing. I'm sure, you know, you know this from jewelry and stuff, like, the last thing is the crystal setting, and it's always the most exciting moment for me because, like, there is that feeling, there's that moment where it just sets perfectly, and you're like, But yes, I do etchings and all that.
I like the style. You said hydrogen peroxide, and what else do you use?
It's called muriatic acid, I think it's what it's called. Muriatic. It's spelled M-U-R-I-A-T-I-C, I think. I'm gonna Google it now just so I can get it. Yeah. Hydrochloric acid / muriatic. M-U-R-I-A-T-I-C. And it's super easy. Keep it, like, you mix the two. I think it's 2 parts the muriatic acid and then 1 part the hydrogen peroxide. And you only need, like, a little tiny bit. You don't need too much, and it lasts forever. This is why I actually did this one, because it lasts for, like, ever. The other acids that you buy for, like, jewelry and stuff, you have to, like, get rid of them at a certain point. And I just didn't, like, partly I don't want to toss these chemicals, like, but they're already there. I don't know, but I just felt like this was a good way of doing it. If you lived in Portland, I would just give you all the stuff because I've got it all here. I've got plenty of it. But yeah, it's very simple. And, like, all I do for the etchings as well is I paint the back of the copper with paint, or, like, sometimes I use, like, a paint pen, and I cover the surface, and then with, like, a sharp point, I'll carve in the drawing. And anywhere where I carve away and, like, reveal the metal, that's where the chemicals get at, and they'll etch away there. But yeah, it's super fun. I highly recommend it. And you can do it. I haven't tried it with silver yet, but it works on brass and copper. I do. I think that's all the ones that I've tried.
I will give it a whirl, but I had noticed the style becoming more prevalent in your
yeah.
art. Now I have a question pertaining to
myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went for a rant.
That's okay, because you gave me information I wasn't expecting to receive.
Oh,
and
cool.
I like you saying you go on a rant that only God knows where you're going, and that's the key, you know. That's real crucial to know that.
It is
Who's
true.
adding your information?
It is true.
Yes. I'm in the process of merging with the internet in being able to merge all of these different web. I'm seeing a spider web, all of these different things, and I would like you to talk to me about my success in doing that and presenting myself to the world and beyond.
I love that. Because I totally feel that as well. And it's been coming up for me really recently as well, this whole idea of, like, soul connections and just, like, soul fragments and all this kind of thing of, like, us, like, spreading ourselves in different lives and alternate realities, all this kind of stuff. And, like, this is what you're like, dealing with. I don't want to say dealing because it sounds like it's, like, it's trouble. It's not trouble. It feels like it's very, I'm sure it's trouble at times. But it feels beautiful at the same time. But it's a good challenge, right? Because at times you think you're really crazy. At times you're like, oh my God, what is this? But it's true. It's all you. And that's the kind of realization I think you're getting from it, is just realizing that everything is you. I am your past life, or we should say, I guess, present life. I am you, and you are me. Chris is us. The chair you're sitting on is you as well. I'm going on tangents, but I'm just going to go with it because it feels really right. If you want to practice kind of like it's like integrating it, I guess. If you want to kind of practice like really bringing that stuff in and doing it just freely and flowingly and easily, start with things around you. Start with a physical thing, because that's the touch element is like it just helps you, your mind, your body, all of that kind of work together. So like, for example, like touch your chair, or if you're sitting on a chair, or if you're, whatever's near you, just grab onto something and just kind of feel it, and then start to feel like it does, for me, it feels like this. It feels like I'm going from me into it, and then from me into it, I feel it coming from it into me. And that feeling of being a part of it, being like in tune with it, is incredibly nice and incredibly good. And that's kind of what you're doing then with everything else, is you're really kind of just seeing it as, oh, this is all me. This is all me. Oh, that's me too. And this is me too. And as you kind of bring all those parts together. How am I going to put this? Sorry. 1 second. I want to really put this in the best way possible. When you bring it all together, and you're probably already feeling this as well, as you bring all these pieces together, all these parts of you together, it all kind of falls away at the same time. So like, oh, I connect with this past life, and I feel this power, and I feel this connection with me and that life, but then it kind of vanishes. And the more you integrate, the kind of less full you become. How do I put it? It's kind of like the more information you bring into your body, the lighter you'll be, because you're integrating it, I guess, is the kind of key. Like, I think that's why they talked about touching something and just kind of feeling that integration, that oneness, is if it starts to feel heavy, it's just kind of like you're not integrating it, but you're just holding it there when you're just supposed to feel it. And like, if you feel it, it moves by itself. It does its thing. You know, you don't have to understand it. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to wonder where it came from, or where it's going to go, or anything like that. Does that make any sense? Before I go on.
It is.
So yeah, you're really going to notice that this year. Like, it's going to become, it's like, it does feel like this for you as well. The past, like, couple years, but in particular the past 2 years, this year and last year, it felt like you exploded yourself, and that was like at the beginning of last year. Like, you exploded yourself, like, excuse my language, but shit went everywhere. Just stuff just like, blah. Which is great, which is what a lot of us did and we needed to do. And now you're bringing it all back. But like, as you bring it back, it's coming back different, and it's coming back clear. It's coming back like renewed or something like that. They kind of give it to me in this image of like, I don't know how they want me to describe this. It's like they keep, I don't know why they're showing me this. It doesn't make sense to me, but they keep showing me like you kind of underwater and swimming underwater, and then like diving out of the water and like swimming in the air. You're in that stage now of like the in-between of like going through the water, half in the water and half out of the water. That's why I'm saying you're going to start to feel lighter, and you're going to become like lack full, I guess, of definitions. You're going to realize like you don't need to explain this or figure that out or try to understand that concept, or, you know, to heal this person. You don't have to like do this and do that and chant that and say this and do this movement and then do that and do like all of those steps and all of those kind of, they're like rules, really. They're like rules and they're like limits in a way. All that stuff is going to become irrelevant, and you're just going to see like, oh, I can just touch the person there, and that's all that's needed. I don't even need to touch the person there, but I'm going to touch the person there because that's where I feel like I'm at. That's definitely what they're bringing you to, especially in your healing. I feel like you're going to be in this space of like I definitely see you like holding your hand over people, not even touching them, and you just hold it there for a second, and then you let it go. And then you find another spot and you hold it there for a second and then you let it go. Because you're not, and I think you know this, you're not doing the healing. You know, like neither is how do I put this? Neither is God in the sense of some other being that is outside of us, that is in some distant place, that is, you know, out there. It's all 100% in here, and like, you're not doing it, meaning your mind doesn't need to do it, doesn't need to figure it out, doesn't need to know how to do it. Your heart maybe doesn't need to either, I don't think. If you're just listening and you're just following and you feel it when you're doing it, if you do that, the healing is instantaneous in the sense of you've seen that it doesn't need to be healed in the first place. But anyway, that is a huge tangent. Do you have a question?
You know, that was a mouthful.
I know, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm working on it.
Don't be. I could grasp what you were saying, and you took me beyond my question, so it broadened my horizon, and you brought me back to myself.
Cool.
And the power that is within, and you know what I have to look forward to. And it's going back to the basics, which is the source, tapping into that, and
100%.
all is well.
Yeah.
All
and
you're
feeling
good.
We are all so good. Like, it's amazing. Like, I know this is incredible, and people are going to hate me for saying this. Even Donald Trump is good right now. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Oh my God, that's so funny. A crystal just fell over right behind me. like a ghost is like, now! But yeah, I do want to share one more thing with you though. I feel like there's something else that I need to say. Okay. So the work that you're doing right now, the work that you're doing right now is really going to change. You're going to be really surprised to see how you, like, who you are or how you are, I guess, next year. Like, almost like this same time next year, like maybe more July. But, and like timelines are like irrelevant, but this is kind of where I feel you're directing yourself. How am I going to say this? The way that it's going to change is you're just going to feel completely different about it. Go with it. Trust that, like, you're going to have moments of really wonderful questioning. You're going to be like, oh my God, like, should I even be doing this? Like, I just realized something that's just made me kind of see what I do as meaningless, or maybe not meaningless, but like kind of an illusion. You know what I mean? Kind of like not real. There's something behind it that is so much more true and powerful. So you're going to really get into that, and it's going to be like a really fun, you've probably already experienced it in your journey, but it's just I feel like it's going to heat up a lot. And you're going to be really like seeing yourself in your practice and kind of like what they mean by that. And the reason I laugh is because it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Realizing that you, 100% you in and like, you know this, but it's a really hard thing to communicate. But you in like every sense of like the word and the feeling and the idea and that kind of thing comes into what you do. And the more kind of you kind of lighten things, the more you kind of free yourself in your general attitude. And this is kind of gonna happen automatically. Don't feel like you need to work on this. But as you just kind of feel, just like you said, like, so it is, you know, I'm going back to source and that is it. And like, all is good, all is well. Like, you're going to be in that space so much that, you know, like, people are going to come up to you and be like, I need help. And you're going to like, you're just going to laugh and you're going to be like, you don't need help. You're so perfect. Like, you know what I mean? And that's been a huge thing with my readings, is like, I find myself in that place and I say like, oh, there's so nothing wrong. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong. And they're like, but this. And I'm like, I know I see it, but like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And it's a really hard thing to fathom. This is how I should say it. It's nothing you should fathom because you'll go insane. But it is a really powerful feeling. And I don't think like it's going to solve all the world's problems, but it'll solve a lot of your problems. and problems is a big word, but like just things like maybe an insecurity or maybe a little fear or maybe a little anxiousness, whatever it is, it'll just make them kind of, like I said, an illusion. And the real truth of like, oh, I don't even have to feel like that, I don't even have to do that, is going to come through, and it's going to be so beautiful. Like, you think your life is beautiful now, like, oh, you're just making it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter for yourself, and like, enjoy the ride. It's going to be, and this is really for everybody, but in particular you, I've always like respected your path and the way that you communicate as a soul. It's really amazing. You don't like, I'm not sure if I've told you this before, but you just need to look at someone. Your eyes hold everything you need. It's so amazing. Like, for you, like, to just sit in front of someone for like 5 minutes and just like think about, like, well, honestly, not even think, just feel you and feel the knowings of who you are and who all this is. And you look at the people in their eyes and they see that in your eyes. Like, that's the way to kind of change anybody. There's a really powerful, that's a funny word. There's a really beautiful, amazing yogi. I can't remember what his name is, which is terrible, but it's okay. He was really famous for that, like, that look, you know, that vision, and like, you know, people would come and they would just sit in front of him and he would just sit there and just stare at them and have this kind of like almost cheeky, like content grin on his face, and he'd just stare at them and see them. And like, he's not like sitting there going, I see you, you know, in his head, like, I see you, you're perfect, you're beautiful. Like, it's not even focused on that. He's feeling it. And that's like, you know, they say, what's the line? The eyes are the window to the soul. Mm. That's the way to show what the soul is to anybody. You know, you see those beautiful moments where a couple is staring eye to eye directly into each other's eyes, you know, loving each other, not saying anything, but feeling like that incredible power of like, whoa, that's what love is. Like, and that's what love feels like through someone's eyes. I can see the love in there. Yeah. Thank you for the reading.
You know, when you said about looking in the eyes and you said the yogi, it made me think of Oshu. I don't know if that's the one, but it also made me think of Tantra. Because, and then you went to love. I said, I love it, because Tantra, looking in the eyes, and then the lovers, and that whole vibration, and the eyes are the windows to the soul. Yeah, beautiful. That is a very powerful exchange of eye-to-eye contact.
Yeah.
I see you.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you said that's not what is being said, but that is what it is happening.
That is what, yeah, exactly. Like, that is the... Like, the reason I said it like that was just so you don't think you need to, like, be all about, like, mentally focused on them and, like, I've got to send them things, because the mind tries a lot. You know, I got to do that. It's not about that. He would just sit and, like, there because, and I'm sure you've felt this feeling plenty of times when you're sitting and staring at a beautiful sunset and you're just looking at everything and just happy. That space is the word. It's like what you need. It's what we all need. It's what we all want in a lot of ways, but it's kind of what we need to be in if we really want to help someone. You know, Jesus or any of these amazing masters or whatever, like, they approached healing and teaching in life through that space, not looking at someone and thinking they need my help, or they aren't, you know, healed until this, or they need to do that, or they don't understand this. Like, that never came into the equation for them. It was just purely, I am this, and that is you, and like, I am you, and you are me, and we are we, and I am I, and like, just that kind of knowledge and that space. And like, that's why they were so profound. That's why people would break down in front of them, because what they were looking at was really like them. And I don't know, like, I'm sure we've all seen it. We've all felt it. We've all seen, you know, beautiful monks or loving parents or whatever, all give us that look of just like, you are it. And like, that's what we need to realize, is like, we're the thing we're searching for so desperately out there. We are it. That's why we never find, it's so funny, that's why we never find the thing outside of us. You know, that's why we've never figured out the answer of like, who am I? It's because there is no answer. It's just it. We are it. We are, I don't even want to say consciousness. We are just it. And if we kind of start our day from that space, oh, like so many things become irrelevant. You know, this idea of like, oh no, like what if this happens? It's like, oh, I wonder if it will. That's going to be fun. That's going to be interesting. Like it's really amazing to see how you can, and the reason I like that way or that perspective is because it feels really nice. It's because it feels really good and it makes my day, you know, go in a direction that feels exciting and feels interesting to me. But anyway, that's off topic. I hope that all made sense to you. Any other questions or anything like that?
I received what you said with gratefulness. My eyes watered up as I feel what you're saying. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And you, even though you speak of what you say as maybe tantrums, I say tantric, and it's good. So only change in the moment as you feel it. You know, be true to yourself, and the way you do what you do is good for you. And those who come to hear you will hear you, and those who don't come to hear you won't hear you. How's that?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's a really important reminder, I think, for like, in particularly me. I'm always so.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much love.
You're welcome.
To you. Have a beautiful night.
The same to you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. And other people. Okay, Queen, take it easy.
That was so good.
Will do. Talk to you later.
Gotcha. Okay, so Nick, I think that's it for our calls.
Oh, it is? Oh my god, an easy one tonight? Only 2?
An easy one. Yeah, only 2.
That was great though. I really had a lot of fun. It was subtly different.
Yeah. So let's put a challenge. Everybody should, even as small or as elaborate as they want to or can, everybody make a crystal grid of some kind.
Yeah. Yes.
That's your homework. Yeah. And,
I like that. I'm going to do that actually.
Yeah. And if you want to, then take pictures of what you create and we'll share them here, you know.
Good idea.
And,
I would love that.
Yeah,
Crystal
so, so tell people how to get a hold of you, and then we'll let you go get back to your buddies.
So you can find me on Facebook. That's probably the best way. Just www.facebook.com/NickFoxLove, or just search in a search bar Nick Fox Love. You'll see my smiling face. I do readings, I do jewelry, I do, lots of wonderful different things. I don't know, I just love life and I'm grateful for everybody and I'm inspired by all of you. So don't be afraid to message me and chat with me. I love making friends. Now I do.
Right.
What else? There's something else. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know, I think that's it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself because, God, you're amazing. And thank you, Chris. How could I forget that? Thank you, Chris, for another amazing, fun show. I'm very grateful for you being patient with me and dealing with all my lunacy.
No.
I bottle it up all month and then I bring it out for you.
It's our luck that you do that. So we appreciate it very much. So okay, I'm gonna
all right, love you guys.
You take
Thank
it easy,
you.
Nick. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
See you next
Thanks
month.
very much. Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
And I'm gonna play a song, and you guys can figure out if you're gonna come on or not. Okay, nobody called in, guys, so we're gonna get out of here. So we'll be back on Thursday. Thursday we'll be back, and we'll see you back here next time then. Down in 3, 2, peace out.